Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome back to Builds with Anna. Today we are in the world of Moonwood Will and we are building a rundown, grungy kind of werewolf starter home. But it's definitely more a shack. I feel like that would be more appropriate for the style of the build. And this is, so Moonwood Mill is the world that came with the Werewolves game pack. And I have recently just picked this up. Now, I have been sitting on this pack for a very long time because I myself am not really an occult player, but I definitely really loved the build items, and the world is just so beautiful. And I may or may not have purchased this just purely because of that and that reason alone. I think I've played with the pack once and I did have fun. I did enjoy it. So if you are someone like me who just builds and you want to know if potentially you'll get some gameplay out of this, you will. It's enjoyable. So anyway, let's get back into the build. So this is the kind of obscure shape that I went with. It was almost like the build just essentially is a square that just gets smaller and smaller. And I kind of like it. I kind of like it. And we just go with this kind of rusty steel kind of greens and red color, really run down, ragged kind of factory look. And I just really had so much fun building this. It was so different to the type of homes that you're all used to seeing here on the channel, and definitely different to the houses that I build. I definitely don't normally build run-down werewolf shacks normally. So a little bit about this shack. So it is a 1x1. Uh, I think I initially try, and you will see this in a minute, I do try to make it a 2-bedroom shack, but in the end it was just 1 bedroom. And I think that it was better off because I could have more of a living space, which we will see in a minute. And I started out with these lights. Now these lights obviously came with the werewolves pack and they gave me that factory vibe, and that's the kind of vibe I went with. Just kind of a rundown factory that may have potentially been purchased and repurposed and what have you. So this is that second room that I tried to squeeze in. And the problem is, if you look at the floor plan of what we're currently looking at, there's no real space for a living area. I can do a kitchen and a dining, but I don't really have a space for a TV or like a communal space. And that's something that I find very important in all my builds, is to have that. So in the end, we actually do get rid of that room, unfortunately, and that becomes where the living room is. Now, the kitchen in this house is it's very different. So the way that it's laid out, it's a fairly small kitchen, but off to the side, closer to where that side back door is, we actually have some island counters that I use for seating. So there actually is not a dining table in this house. That seating there, that island seating, which I'm just doing right now, but under the window where you can see, that is the seating of this house. That's the dining seating of this house. And I thought that that was really a good use of the space, because to me, I knew I was not going to be able to have a dining table. I could barely fit a living room. So I definitely thought that this was a good use of the space. Now, I was initially wanting to use the werewolves pack and potentially base game, but I felt that there were items from, as you can see, the laundry day, but definitely items from eco lifestyle as well that actually really, really fit this build. And those crafted items, so those bar stools, I use the crafted toilet in the bathroom. Those objects to me really fit the aesthetic of this build. Just having like that tin can for a bin instead of a proper bin, like I just thought, oh, it's so good. The rundown couch, I love this couch, and just that tire end table is so pretty. Even though it's brick, I decided to put some scratches. I thought, scratches on the door was really good and what have you. I thought that it might be a good idea to squeeze in a computer in this build. just because I thought that the werewolf sim that I was potentially building this for, maybe she was a little bit more into really learning about Moonwood Mill, really learning about werewolves, the stereotypes of the werewolves, and what is that history and that lore in this town. And I really felt that things like having books and bookcases and computers and resources like that would be really important to this sim. And I really tried to convey that with all of the type of items. But some of these items are absolutely amazing. I love that clock. I just love it. The red color of that desk is so nice, and I really ran with that red color. So you'll see the red, the greens, the blues, all of that stuff is used. And I really did, just as you can see, go in the show all catalog menu and just absolutely just went through everything werewolves and just went through it. I love this mirror moon kind of crystal wall decor. I really hope I can utilize that in other builds, in other styles of builds, because I think it's such a beautiful piece. These ceiling fans I thought would be a good way to tie a little bit more red in, so I do get rid of some of the hanging lamps, the lights, not lamps, sorry. And then we're just layering some rugs. I think that they're really cool. I went with the more dated, worn rugs as opposed to the newer rugs. I thought that that'd be cool. Again, I felt that this would be a sim that potentially would collect things. They really want to know more about the area. So I put one of those trinket cases in there. I thought that that would be really cool. We do end up putting a TV into this build, which I've sized up there. Now, into the bedroom. So for the bedroom, so we've gone with the crafted wooden end tables, and we do end up changing the bedspread. I believe we go to a blue. Yes, a blue. And I thought that matched really well with that kind of trunk end piece, the flowers in the drawer kind of planter box thing. I love that thing, by the way. Oh my God, that's so pretty. And now we're at the stage of the build where we're just cluttering. Now, I'll be honest with you. This was actually not meant to be a starter home. I never intended it to be a starter home. But when it actually comes in, I think just under 19K simoleons. So it is actually a starter home, which is why I have referred it as so. But yeah, it wasn't the intention, but I was more than happy to have that price point because it meant that I could, create my sim. I think her name's Alana. A very weird name for a werewolf, but I liked it. Alana to move in and start her life here in Moonwood Mill. These tiles I decided to put in the bathroom and also in the kitchen area. I thought that it kind of broke up the wood a little bit, and I thought it made a little bit more sense. As she's a werewolf, I wanted to put some fitness items in there because fury, and rampaging and what have you, and there's marks. I don't really know the scratch marks on the wood would the brick, sorry, would be quite realistic, but I thought it looked cool. I just went with it. And now this is the part where I opened the debug menu and I went to town. So I really, really went with the landscaping on this build. So the house, as you saw, was very, very plain and, well, not plain, but it was kind of simple. There's nothing really too much excitement. But this outside, this is where it happens. This is this kind of, we've got the fire pit, we've got the trees, we've got the plants. We do some fencing, we do the planter boxes. There's dirt coming out of the planter boxes. There's rubbish, there's broken factory pieces, there's those plants. It's just absolutely I just went into debug and just pretty much placed anything I could that I felt matched. And that was very much what I did. And it was so fun. I loved the debug menu in this werewolves pack. And this really made me feel like, oh my God, I need to play with this some more. I'm really glad I purchased this pack. Now these tires I thought would be cute to just raise one up on top of the other, kind of give it a stacked feel. And I actually put a tree inside where the hole is of the tire. again, it's just those little details that when you're designing, like it makes it look intentional, but it actually is just such a stylish thing. Now we do change that tree. I make it a proper tree, but I just think it was so smart of me to put a tree in the center of that. Just some plants that are overflowing, and this is that fence. So we do connect a different style of fence to that broken piece. Now they're debug fences. The Sims will still walk through them. But yeah, I just thought it would be a good design. I love that there are pallets in this game. Now I work in a warehouse, so for me to see a pallet, it's kind of like a very much a homage to what I have in my everyday life. So I thought that was cool. Just put like a broken dresser on top. I love it. This is just so different to what I would build every day, and I just had the most amazing time building. So I really did just clutter up the space, and it really does feel the lot. Like this is a tiny house. It's not very big, but it doesn't feel tiny because I've really gone in and just cluttered. We do use a lot of lay-lowing flowers, a lot of greenery, not too much colour in terms of plants. I do try to look around the space around the lot and try to use and incorporate the plants and what have you that were part of the outside. So here I am just changing that fence. It's just a kind of a worn timber fence. It looks very similar to the base game version that's in debug. Again, why do we use debug fences? Because we can place them on the edge of the lot. I feel like we could all join me when I say that, and bathrooms are very basic. I mention it in every build. I just love them. I just feel like that it adds detail. It's for aesthetic reasons, and that's essentially what the fence is for. Unless you're in cottage living and you're playing with chickens, they don't really have a purpose, in my opinion. So I thought it was a nice touch. I really liked kind of using different types of fencing pieces. So as you can see, I had ones that were metal, ones that were kind of broken and torn, and then like the proper fences. And then I was in debug trying to think of how I can add more clutter pieces, and I found that Chinese box and the milk carton, and I thought that is amazing. I'm not sure if that's in any other pack. I think it might be an eco lifestyle as well in the debug menu. But I just thought I'd include that because it kind of gave that, I don't know, like a messy vibe. Like, that this sim was like gonna leave like milk out on the counter. There's just no care in the world. So yeah, I thought that was awesome. I'm just putting this in nighttime or morning actually. Look how beautiful this house is. I absolutely love the shadows of the sunrise in this world of Moonwood Mill. And that is today's video. A nice and a quick one today, but I thought this was a lot of fun, and I've absolutely been loving this new pack. It's not exactly new, but it's relatively new. It's a couple of months old. But if you have not yet purchased it, I would highly recommend it. If you are a builder, if you are just pretty much anything, storytelling, building, if you make Sims, if you play, if you're a big into gameplay, the Werewolves game pack is absolutely for you. And yeah, and with that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.